My boyfriend is ranked number 1 on the horror game player leaderboards, and I work as a monster inside the game dungeons secretly. The dungeons he clears are all SSS tier nightmares. The dungeon I work in, the starter zone, we kept to our own lanes, until the SSS tier dungeon was almost completely cleared out by my boyfriend, its monsters all slaughtered. The system panicked and sent me in as a last-minute replacement. Watching me clumsily intimidating others, the stream chat exploded. How did such a timid monster get into an SSS tier dungeon? She scared herself. Idiot, getting lost in her own dungeon? This monster's a joke. Poor little thing. If anyone else finds her, maybe okay. If Ryan finds her, insta-death. Chill, Ryan only bothers with the scariest SSS tier bosses. This idiot? She'd probably die of fright before he even lifts a finger. I desperately tried to hide, to keep my part-time job a secret. Later, stumbling blindly, I ran straight into my boyfriend. The chat buzzed. Why? Ting for me to get killed. But the man known as a true god among players just gently lowered his head, pinched my cheek and said, "Sweetie, how many players do you need to kill? I'll help." Stream chat? My name is Sienna. I have an incredibly powerful boyfriend. He's number 1 on the horror game player leaderboards. Mention his name, Ryan, and almost no player or monster hasn't heard of him. Even the terrifying bosses of SSS tier dungeons fear him. Once, curious, I asked, "Ryan, are you really that good?" The man, busy cooking, proudly showed off his knife skills. A huge potato became paper-thin slices. I was just about to be amazed. The next second, I was carried to the bedroom. The muscular man nuzzled my lace shoulder strap off with his teeth, brushing against sensitive spots. How good I am, baby, is for you to say. And not that kind of good. I tried to kick him, flustered. He caught my ankle, kissing me deeply. Things escalated quickly. It didn't end until I showered him with desp, irate praise. Leaving the bedroom, my legs were trembling. He just chuckled, kissing me again like he couldn't get enough. Then, completely unruffled, he went back to cooking. He also washed the sheets, changed the cat litter, watered the plants, and mopped every floor. With him home, everything was spotless. Hard to stay angry. I thought, Ryan really is shameless, but also, really good. People constantly offer him fortunes to clear dungeons for them, calling him legend this, boss that. Whether he helps or not depends entirely on his mood, because I'm a scaredy cat. I once entered a dungeon and got so frightened, Ryan forbade me from going into horror dungeons again, but he didn't know. I've secretly been working part-time as a monster NPC inside the horror game for 2 months now. Ryan, as player number 1, only tackles SSS tier dungeons. The dungeon I work in is beginner level. They're worlds apart, no chance of crossing paths, so I wasn't worried Ryan would find out. Watching my ACC account fill with horror coins? Pure joy. The starter zone wasn't as scary as I thought. My daily tasks involved playing story NPCs, sometimes scaring the players. Most players here were newbies, a few fainted at my attempts. Definitely more suited to being an NPC than a player, I mused. I thought this life would go on forever. Then the system alert flashed. SSS tier dungeon monster NPCs critically depleted, requisitioning replacements from other dungeons. Unluckily, I got picked. The ragged doll beside me threw a fit. I'm not going to an SSS tier dungeon. I'm just an innocent, people-eating doll. The players there are terrifying. I can't fight them. They'll tear me apart. My situation was worse. I didn't even know how to eat people. My only skill? Hair that grows extra long. Entering the SSS tier dungeon, I instantly felt the difference. My old dungeon was a quaint town, busy during the day, perfectly normal. I played a flower girl, giving players clues. At night, I'd transform into a vengeful spirit, haunting the streets, randomly terrifying players. The town only got scary at night. Here in the SSS tier dungeon, gloomy skies from the start, no telling day from night. Dense, overgrown forests layer upon layer. Low, menacing growls echoed, hinting at dangers lurking unseen. The ragged doll instantly leaped into my arms. Scary, scary. I want to go home. I comforted it. Don't be afraid, Flopsy. We're the monsters. The players should be scared. Honestly, I was nervous too, praying silently, please don't let me run into Ryan. If he found out I'd been working at horror dungeons secretly, he'd be furious. Last time I annoyed him, couldn't leave the bed for 5 days straight. And those countless hickeys. I shook my head violently. Flopsy and I were just fill-ins. The monsters that truly dealt with players were all SSS level dungeon monsters. If I were careful, he'd never know about my secret NPC gig. Draped in long hair, I hung upside down from a tree. The first player passing by was a girl. Seeing me motionless, she just gave a cold glance and walked on. The second player actually jumped at the sight of my long hair, but recovered fast. He lit my hair on fire. Flames engulfed my hair instantly. As an NPC, I could feel pain, but showing it? Against NPC dignity. I wanted to chase this jerk, but he vanished in a flash. My hair burned fiercer. Chasing him, embers scattered into the brush, starting a wildfire. No time to worry. I plunged headfirst into a nearby creek. Flopsy hauled me out. Poor thing. Its ripped mouth had been deliberately sewn shut by another player. I unpicked the stitches. It sobbed into my chest. Meanies. Players here are awful. They sewed my mouth shut. They even wanted my stuffing for Tinder. I want to go home, boo-hoo. I touched my singed hair. Home sounded good. We clung to each other, crying, unaware our every move was live-streamed. LOL, how'd this weakling monster get into SSS tier? The tough ones got slaughtered by the Godslayer and crew. Only these weaklings survive secretly. The Godslayer is really amazing. When can I team up with him? Dream on, loser. The Godslayer's busy marrying me. Gag. Like he'd look twice at you? At least not at a scrub like you. Y'all really fighting over this? Face it, someone as powerful and aloof as the Godslayer wouldn't bother with a partner. Agreed. Gods don't stoop to mortals. The forest fire raged. Afraid it would draw players, Flopsy and I moved. The system map showed a cabin 3 miles east. New players always passed by there. Weaker monsters could scare them there. After an hour following the map, we were lost. We got startled by passing players. Splattered in monster blood, they looked scarier than us monsters. Hahaha, since when are this dungeon's monsters so timid? Scaring themselves. Idiots, getting lost in their own dungeon? First time seeing that. Poor little things. Hide well. Anyone else? Maybe okay. If Ryan finds you, Insta. ATH. Chill, Ryan only bothers with the scariest bosses. This idiot? She'd probably die of fright before he lifts a finger. Am I the only one who thinks this girl monster is cute? Braided her new hair growth for travel. Most chat mocked me. Some practically salivated over my potential demise. Clueless, I faced a bigger problem. A player blocking our escape. You a player? The burly man, muscles like stones, eyes hawkish, scanned me. My braided hair and slightly pale face made me look almost human. Then a nasty smirk spread. Your eyes. So pretty. Players have dark eyes. Monsters? Gray. He knew. An SSS tier monster this pretty? Wonder how it will be to play. Licking his lips, he closed in. Chat. This guy's disgusting. Hitting on a game monster? Well, SSS tier monsters are usually grotesque. A cute one like this? Who wouldn't be tempted? She's trapped. Know that player? Rank number 23. Skilled, but notorious creep. Suddenly can't watch. Run, monster girl. Who's the bleeding heart sympathizing with a monster? Never seen horror game action. Dropping trousers now. You're more disgusting than the monster. Perv. I tried to bolt. He cut me off instantly. Flopsy leaped in front. It lunged at the man, mouth gaping wide to swallow him whole. The man sneered, slashing a knife across Flopsy's mouth and eyes. This is your challenge? Pathetic. His leer fixed back on me. Be good. You won't end up like it. I'll be gentle, sweetheart. Chad urged me to run. I stood still. He drew closer, gaze hungry. Smart girl. No point running. Might as well enjoy it. His hand reached out, then froze in disbelief. An ice spike erupted from his arm, rapidly spreading. What did you do? Chad exploded. Frostbite curse? The ultra-rare drop from the Frost Citadel boss. Only top 10 players can beat that boss. Why's it on a monster? Impossible. He paled, scrambling for counter items to halt the ice. I pulled out more gear. Dire Wolf Claw. Rosary of Thorns. Final verdict. Witch's Eyeball. All SSS tier gear? Chat gasped collectively. I hurled them like junk. Fear twisted his face. He'd never seen so much SSS tier gear, let alone faced it. He crumpled, unconscious. System. Player Brad Jenkins eliminated. My account pinged. Plus 1,000 horror coins. Chat went silent. Stunned. Finally, someone typed. Real? Bug? Why's a weakling monster packing that gear? Saw the Rosary of Thorns before. Ryan got one. Never seen anyone else. Her throwing them like candy? Amazing. Never seen it before. Only Ryan does that, and he's too powerful to need it usually. What is happening? I had no idea that the chat was hotly discussing because of the gear I threw out. Worried, I scooped up Flopsy. Hang on, Flopsy, we'll find the cabin. I'll fix you. I checked my inventory. SSS tier gear worth fortunes? I had hundreds. Ryan gave them to me. Useless in the starter zone, I'd forgotten them. I found a navigation compass. Reached the cabin quickly. Inside, sewing Flopsy U.P. I relaxed. Flopsy gazed adoringly. You're amazing. Why wait? We didn't have to fear them. Forgot I had them. Car engines rumbled outside. Players had arrived. Armed with gear, fear subsided. Flopsy twitched its bunny ears, hopping onto a table. Let's scare the pants off them. Gobble them all up. We got this. Flopsy. I peered from the 3rd floor window, plotting scares. Saw a familiar figure. Froze. Ryan was in this dungeon. His group, men and women, followed his lead. Chat was ignited. Ryan. R.I.P. little monster. Gear won't save her now. Flopsy, seeing targets, vibrated with excitement. Wanted to taunt them. I clamped its mouth. Too big to fully cover. A squeak escaped. The man below paused. Looked up. I yanked Flopsy back. Sweat slicked my palms. Did Ryan see me? Flopsy whined. What? Scared? We're scaring them. I whispered. Flopsy, big trouble. Someone scary down there. So? We have scarier gear. Fear him? Of course. Ryan gave me that gear. Using it? He'd know. Seeing Flopsy oblivious, I confessed. That player? Ryan. Flopsy froze. Ryan, the Godslayer? Nodding confirmed it. Its bravado vanished. Trembling. The Godslayer meets no monster survives. What do we do? I'm just an innocent, people-eating doll. I panicked too. He'd be furious about my gig, but now was clearly not the time for random thoughts. I tried to calm myself, clutching Flopsy and hid. The group of people outside came in, the sound of footsteps growing louder. I clasped my hands together, praying they wouldn't come up to the 2nd floor. They seemed to be discussing something on the 1st floor. Flopsy had excellent hearing. It told me they were saying it was already dark and that they planned to spend the night here. I prayed that no one would come to the room at the end of the 2nd floor hallway, because I was hidden under the bed in this very room. Unfortunately, the more afraid you are of something, that's exactly what happens. Footsteps sounded on the staircase. SL, ow and steady, then in the hallway, getting closer and closer. Finally, those footsteps stopped right outside the door to the room I was in.